My next guest is a leading light of Australian showbiz. He's been there, he's done that for about the last 40-odd years. He starred in all the big musicals of the 70s and has now carved a nice niche for himself on television. Folks, please welcome one of the stars of Channel 9's Our House, Reg Livermore. I was getting all carried away, Reg. It's such powerful music.
It is. Timeless, pretty timeless.
Well, you did it a few times, didn't you?
I did, quite a lot.
Well, before we go and talk about that, it's such good music, such good up music. I think congratulations are in order, aren't they?
Thank you very much.
The Reg received an AO, which is Order of Australia.
Yeah.
Cool. Isn't that wonderful? When did you first find out?
Thank you. Well, I knew probably a month or so beforehand, because they like to know, the Government House in Canberra likes to know whether you would receive it or whether you would refuse it. So rather than have an ugly scene, I think they suss you out first of all. So,
Any hesitation?
No, none. None at all. Well, it's like getting a good review. You know, in show business you get used to getting good and bad reviews. This is the best one.
It's wonderful. Well, where is it? You didn't bring it in.
No. Well, the investiture, that occurs in April or May. Yeah.
But it was announced on Australia Day, January, and it takes till April. Is this bureaucracy gone mad? I mean, why are they taking so long?
Well, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of organising, in each state where the investiture will occur and who's going to take care of it.
Well, I think it's wonderful because you have been such a big part of Australian showbiz for 40 years, and listening to that powerful music, how many times did you play Dr. Frankenfurter?
Well, I was the original Dr. Frankenfurter in 1974, and I played it for 8 months until my legs just couldn't take the high heel shoes anymore. There, look at this.
Whoa!
And then I played it in
This is so long ago it's in black and white, Reg.
Well, look at it. God, if I was a cat, that's just one of my 9 lives has gone by.
That wasn't Nene King on the left there, was it?
No, I don't think so.
It just looked like Nene King from Woman's Weekly there. I'm sorry, I'm having a flash here.
Right.
But that was a very important part. And how is it that music stands up so many years later?
Well, it's good music. I mean, it's music you can get right into. It's sort of action music, you know. And I don't think it's particularly defined by the times. That, you know, it doesn't fade away, because the show itself is pretty vital. I mean, the show now is not what it was in 1974. It was quite a shock to people, but it's still, an enjoyable sort of piece of work. The
precursor to the Rocky Horror Show for you was Hair.
That's right.
How did you, in fact, get into that?
Well, my sister was in it, and I remember hearing all sorts of stories during the rehearsals about how it was going, and it sounded to me like it was going to be a pretty sort of so-so sort of show.
All that nudity and
everything. All that nudity. And, I'd come from the theatre where, I was carved out I was going to be Sir Laurence Olivier, for God's sake, and there was this hair and this sort of kids off the streets. And anyway, I went along to a dress rehearsal, and I'd been saying all sorts of bad things about it. And it had such an emotional impact on me that Jim Sharman, who was the director, had to actually bring me a cup of coffee at the end of it and help me out of my seat, because I was just sobbing. And I suddenly realised that all of the things I'd done up until that time were nothing to what I could do if I got into a show like this. I could let myself go. I could free myself on the stage, and in fact I pestered my way into it. And I was in that for 2.5 years. It was a great experience.
Seeing we are sort of looking back in time, we've got something from, I think, 1984, which is not so long ago, but have a look at this.
So, come up to the lab and see what's on the slab. I see you tremble with anticipation. Patient. But it's really to blame. So I remove the core, but not the symptom.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
I'm squirming.
How did you wear those high heels and stockings for so long?
Well, I had to run in them, I had to climb ladders, I had to do all sorts of things. I did get used to them. They're pretty sturdily built, I must say, with reinforced heels. And in fact, I wore those shoes all through all the other shows of my own after that, Betty Blockbuster and Wonder Woman and Sacred Cow and so on. But I'm glad I don't wear them anymore.
I bet.
Yeah.
The ad-libs that you did in that show were pretty outrageous and used to throw a bit of timing out every once in a while. It's a bit like working on the Midday show, really.
Well, look, the show was supposed to be 1 hour, 30 minutes long, the length of a B-grade horror movie, and indeed, when it started, it was. But I thought that after 3 months, I thought, now look, this Frankenfurter character is much more interesting than the script allows, so I started to give him a little more life. So by the time I left it, I think I'd added about 20 or 25 minutes of my own dialogue into the thing. And indeed, that's why people kept coming back time and time again, I was told, to see what I might say that particular night.
Because they weren't sure.
They weren't sure. But I certainly filled the character out. Yeah.
But of all the crazy, wild, wonderful things you've done on stage, Reg Livermore is a very private and shy person.
Yeah, well, what do you mean? Of course I am. Well, that's my job. I mean, that's what I was born to do, you know, and I think that the rest of my life is my life, you know. And
but how do you where do you find that stuff within you to walk out in the high heels and be outrageous and do all that stuff in front of literally hundreds and thousands of people when you're so quiet? Where does it come from?
My guts. That's where it comes from. I mean, I have to do it. That's my job. And of course, you know, if you're in a musical and the music starts, well,
it's a bit like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, is it?
Well, yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I often nowadays think of myself as two different people. The one who wants to stay at home and the one who says, no, you've got to take me to the theatre because I have to go on and be wonderful. And I think, oh, look, why, let's just forget it for a while, you know, and I do often forget it for a while.
But I mean, the Reg Livermore, who is that quiet, shy, retired... Sorry, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I picked this up. It's the Clio circa 1976. I have been glued to this all morning. Some of the ads are still the same, Reg.
Yes.
A lot of the same people. But look at, you were Clio's mate of the month. Now, is this the shy... Look at it. Now, this is not the shy, retiring one who wants to do the garden.
No. I only did that because the photographer was a friend of mine, Dieter Moore in Melbourne, and he persuaded me to do it. But as you can see, it's very discreet.
Yeah, I did. But I mean, that one's the classic. I do actually love that one the best.
Yes, look, I was a nice boy once. Can I show you?
Oh, that's my bad. This is you being the nice boy.
Well, this is a kid, yes. I mean, who would have thought that I'd end up... Oh, isn't it sweet?
Is that the nativity scene at school? Oh!
That's...
Yeah. Pick Reg Livermore. Let's have a look at the nativity scene again. Oh.
It's not a nativity scene, that's a pirate scene. They're pirates.
Sorry.
That was my model theatre where I got all my ideas.
Humble apologies. Humble
right.
apologies. You've got a new show. Also, Our House. That was wonderful. I love what you do on Our House.
Thank you.
It's so much fun.
It is. Yeah.
Do you enjoy doing all that stuff?
I particularly enjoy my colleagues. We have a good time when we're out on the road. There are stories that I enjoy more than others. Some I don't want to do at all, but you know, I'm obliged to do them. But and I'm learning all sorts of things along the way, and it's nice to be able to alert everybody else, the audience, the viewers, to you know, inexpensive ways to get around problems that could be expensive.
Well, I know my husband loves it because he's a bit of a do-it-yourselfer. Because every time I want something done around the house, he says, do it yourself. Oh, it's an old gag, but I'm...
But wouldn't you rather pay somebody else to do it?
Indeed. Tell me about the new show.
Red Riding Hood, the Speed Hump and the Wolf, yep.
Sorry, do this again. Red Riding
Hood, the Speed Hump and the Wolf.
Do we need to ask what this is about?
Well, it's about interfering with the established order of things, really. I mean, I certainly interfere with the fairy tale characters, you know, Grandma, Red Riding Hood and the Wolf. I give them life the way I gave Frankenfurter a life. And they're very much like us, in fact. But the speed hump is, I suppose, a symbol for the way that we have a habit, the human being has a habit of... changing things without really considering what the consequences are going to be. And I think the speed hump is probably one of the best sort of examples of what it can do. I mean, you know, everybody hates them. The ambulance hates them. The fire brigade hates them. People who live beside them hate them. And drivers certainly hate them. So
Is life for you one long speed bump? And
it is.
well, congratulations on the show,
Yeah.
and it's so nice to have you in. I'm going to look through that folder and see if there's more interesting photographs in there. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Reg Livermore.
Yeah, thank you.